you for joining us once again at Aldila, Kormadam. Aldi, before we started with this program, we had a short discussion about someone that doesn't accept responsibility. Now, without going into politics, you know, we've got a group of people which calls themselves government who loves to do this. And they call it blame and shame. They don't accept the responsibility, they blame everybody else for it and then makes them look bad. But it's not only there, I'm just using it for an example, but it happens on a daily basis in life.
Yes, it does.
How do we handle that?
There are various ways to handle it, but the boxing gloves and the aggression will get us into prison. So let's try the
smoother
softer approach, the more gentle approach. So I have a chapter in my book that I say, stop blaming and start changing. And the clients, when they come to me for their bars and for their emotional wellness, a lot of them, maybe I mustn't say it on camera because then I'm not going to get any more clients. A lot of them say to me, Aldi, it was so much easier for us to blame, because now that we have been introduced to the new way of thinking, the new paradigm, we can't blame our unhappiness or whatever we do on anyone else again. We have to take responsibility. And it's really just so much easier to blame other people. It's wonderful. It's really, really hard to take responsibility and to look in the mirror and to say, you know, I need to change this about myself, or I need to work on that, and to do it without judgment of yourself, and to do it in allowance of you, to say, yes, I'm becoming aware, and we're going to talk about awareness and helicopter view in the next program. But when I blame, I take no responsibility, and when I blame, I have no boundaries. So yes, and I mean, we will talk about boundaries as well. I mean, there's so many facets and aspects to wellness and to emotional wellness, but I had a mentor. She's a phenomenal woman, and she has really taught me a lot about myself, about life. And you know, yes, all of us that mentor others also need help and mentors and a community of support that I also belong to. And she taught me something the other day that really
hit hard.
Yeah, she says, Aldi, they call me Aldiki. People close to me call me Aldiki. And she said, Aldiki, you know what? The planet and life is actually only about three things. It's about money, it's about emotions, and it's about sex. Everything comes down to those three things.
Incredibly so.
Yeah. And that is the three things that we've actually come to master here. We've come to master the balance of healthy sexuality. We've come to balance the healthy way of money. We've come to balance our emotions. Because when we can truly go within and master those three things, most conflict will be avoided. And it really made me think that every time I have fought with someone, which happens on a regular basis, every time there's a difference of opinion, every time you lose a friend, or your marriage ends, or excuse me, you're upset with your parents or your child, it's relationships play out those three things. And again, if I take my power, I can say, okay, it's about sex, it's about money, or it's about my emotion. And here we are empowering the people to take control, do the inner work, and become aware of those three things without judgment and in allowance. So I'm going to use an example that one of my clients actually shared with me. Oh, this is such a cute way that she put it. She went to a place in her younger years. She went through a depressive episode, and she says she went to one of those places where you go to for 2
therapy.
weeks. Yeah, what do you call it?
Sleep therapy.
Oh yeah, I don't want to say the mental institution because that's not where she went. She went to one of those places where they book you in.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be nice? And she says the psychologist there empowered her so much. And I'm going to tell the story of my client that psychologist told her so that it will help the viewers, because if we can help one another through our stories,
That's what we're here for.
we belong and we are community, and that's why we're doing this. So that therapist said to her, your life is like a beautiful house with a rose garden and green grass, and you are living next to other houses. And you have to decide if you want to put a white picket fence at the front and on the sides all around your little house. Because the neighbors might walk past with their dog. And then if you don't have a fence, the little doggies are going to run onto your grass and make a number 2
Okay.
on your grass.
Leave a mark.
Saying it very nicely. So you have to have a nice white picket fence, because it's your house, it's your garden, you are responsible for it. And by putting a fence, a nice white picket fence, the neighbors can still walk past and wave at you and say, good morning, how are you? And you can go, hello. And if you want them to come and visit you, you may open the gate and say, I'm sorry, your doggies cannot come in because they cannot come and mark my grass. It then gives the choice for that neighbor to say whether they want to go and put their dogs in their house and come and visit you and enjoy your garden or not. And to me, that was such a powerful lesson for us to realize that we blame other people, yet we are the ones that decide who we open the gate for
sure.
in our life. And as long as I can blame someone else and not take responsibility, I don't have to put in the awareness and the change to actually put a boundary and be happy. We cannot be happy as long as we choose to blame other people. Once we release the need to blame someone else, to release the shame, and to ignite our flame, our life will start to change.
You sound like a poet.
And I don't even know it.
So when does the actual taking responsibility start? The minute you make the decision, or is it reflected through actions?
It's a daily process of awareness. And that's what we're going to talk about now in the next clip. Because we have to teach people the pause, and we have to teach people the concept of awareness. And the big thing that we need to learn as we go through the process of empowerment is you come to a point where you sit back and you go, my parents didn't teach me this. I wasn't taught this at school. And there's various emotions that go through you as you wake up, as you awaken and as you learn to live in awareness. It's not going to help us to blame anybody. If blaming helped, if blaming was a contribution, if it made a difference, I would have said, please continue. So, before we end off this specific talk, I'm going to teach a tool to the viewers with regards to blaming, shaming, making choices, choosing and taking responsibility. When I need to make a decision, I ask myself only this question. I sit and I say, what I want to do now, or what I want to choose now, is this going to be a contribution in my life, in the life of my business, in the life of my staff, in the life of my patients, in the life of my family, my friends? Does the energy and the essence feel light? And is it going to be a contribution?
Yeah.
Okay, so if I now go to the restaurant and I am having a gin, and one gin turns into two, two turn into four, four gins turn into six, six turns into eight. Is it going to be a contribution for me to get behind the wheel of my car?
No, for sure not.
So, in this practice, there's no blaming, there's no shaming, there's no guilt tripping, there's no telling anybody no. I ask a question. What you are about to choose now, the choice that you are now choosing, is it going to be a contribution? And then from there, you can make a choice.
It's amazing how once you say that, a light goes up, and I'm sure for you as well. Suddenly you think life is actually simple.
Yes.
If you just apply those basic rules.
Tools, the tools.
Mm.
It's all about the tools. So if I blame someone, I blame my granny for giving me these hips. Is it a contribution
No.
when I blame her? What am I going to
Can you
choose in
change
this
it?
moment? Yes, I'm sure you can go for liposuction, you can come for the synergy, you can have the weight loss drip. What does it help to blame? And is blaming a contribution?
It's not.
It's like criticizing your body. Remember we had
For
that
sure.
great talk about the weight loss and
Yeah.
how we criticize our body. Is it a contribution to criticize your body?
It's not what it is. It's a tool for you to apply in your life. And once again, thank you so much for joining us. We'll do this again next week.